There's more to being a Buffalo Bills fan than breaking tables. Welcome to the More Than Breaking Tables podcast, a show about what really makes up the greatest fan base in the NFL. We're talking football with experts and fans from around the country. Here's your host and proud member of Bills Mafia, Connor Kobus.
Hello and welcome to a nice episode that we're all looking forward to of More Than Breaking Tables. In today's episode, we are going to recap the Bills' blowout victory over the Panthers, letting James cook, and also what is wrong with Josh Allen. My counterpart, Pasquale Maggiore, went to the game. I followed your travels on Instagram. I got to start the episode out by asking you, why are we trying other cities' chicken wings?
I thought that was the easiest way to go when it came to the other menu options that I had. I also had some sliders, which had pretty much one shrimp on each. So kind of a disappointing experience with that particular meal. But I don't want to go out on a limb and just bury this restaurant. So
Well, nobody has wings like Buffalo. Can we agree?
There are a lot of good other wing towns. A lot of towns are catching up, and I figured just because there's so many transplants in Charlotte, I wouldn't have a hard time finding a good wing. But I'm a big fan of the garlic parm wing, and if you don't do the sauce just right, it's not good. And that was not a good wing.
Sorry for your experience, and just next time, hopefully you can learn from that. But I'm going to kick it over to you. Talk to me about your trip down there, what it was like tailgating, how the experience was as Bills Mafia invaded Carolina and took over 60-70% of that stadium.
Yeah, it was really cool. I did not know what to expect. That was my first time going to a Carolina Panthers game. We hit up Tavern on the Tracks on Saturday, who was having a big Bills party. A lot of vendors, a lot of people, ran into a lot of familiar faces there. Really good atmosphere. The high noons were flowing nicely, sometimes a little bit too nicely, but yeah, it was really cool. Carried over into the next day, checked out one of the other tailgate parties, and yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't really know like the percentage. It did seem like there was still a lot of Panthers fans in the house, especially where we were sitting, our section. We sat right next to Panthers fans. The row behind us were all Panthers fans. The row in front of us were all Panthers fans, but a really nice stadium. And when you're talking about Panthers fans, I kind of go back to my experience on Thanksgiving Day when we went to play the Lions in Detroit. What can they really say? What have they accomplished where they can say, oh, hey, stupid Bills fan, we have this, we have that? You know, what can you say? You can't really say.
Well, in their defense, they have made it to a Super Bowl more recently than the Bills. That was a one-off, but
yeah, I know.
yes.
Come on, it happens. I mean, it can happen.
Okay, well, we need to get to a Super Bowl to shut up a lot of critics. That's all I'm saying. But I get it.
Critics for a reason, yes.
Who did the keep pounding drum beat that starts the game off? What celebrity did they have?
We did not make it in time for that, no.
You were late. Oh,
yeah, we were late.
Unbelievable. Too much tailgating. Let's break it down. James Cook, good thing we paid him, am I right?
For sure.
Huge holes, ran over 200 yards. The offensive line dominated Carolina. I think up until this point of the season, and we're 8 weeks in, you'd have to say James Cook is the MVP on the offense, which is surprising with the quarterback that we have.
Yeah, and is that by design, or is that because, Joe Brady's not a very good offensive coordinator? I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday the run game was working, so why go away from it? But Josh has been off, and a lot of people in the Bills fan community don't like to throw stones at Josh like he's perfect, doesn't make mistakes, but you have to be critical when you're evaluating every player that's on this roster. And outside of the Baltimore game where he led that great comeback, it hasn't been MVP Josh Allen football. And the thing is, we don't need an MVP-like season again, but we need an above-average quarterback to get his receivers open, which bodes into the question, can they get open? So there's a lot of questions on the offense. James Cook we can count on, but you're going to need, against teams like the Chiefs coming into town, you have to be able to throw the ball.
And one thing that was mentioned before about when Stephon Diggs was here, we talked about Josh possibly forcing throws to Diggs. Now is he forcing those throws to Keon Coleman?
He might be, and that's the thing that Coleman hasn't shown the growth in his second season where he needs to be that boundary receiver. The Bills have they have a great pass catching tight end in Kincaid. Knox does good as a backup. Shakir's good with yards after the catch. You saw what he did in open space on that 55-yard touchdown, but we need a guy on the outside numbers to make plays. Coleman hasn't been doing that, so it's one of those things where we're in a win now mentality. You either bring somebody in at the trade deadline, do you give Gabe Davis another shot? But we need to see that deep ball. I'm kind of I don't like seeing the wide receiver screens that much. Josh Allen has a great arm. I want to see him use it, extend the plays downfield, and the passing game definitely needs to pick it up.
Yeah, if it were me, I would like a shakeup. I would like elevating Gabe Davis for one game to see what he's got left in the tank. Maybe we tell Elijah Moore to just go and hang up in the press box for a game or two and see what we need there. I heard a conversation today about the potential to bring in another wide receiver. Again, it would be picking up somebody else's junk. I don't think you're going to be bringing in a top name. We talked about those couple of names down from the Saints, and I heard maybe throwing a first-round pick for one of them, Olave. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving a first-round pick.
Yeah, definitely don't want to give up the first-round pick, but Rashid Shaheed, who's a big deep threat, could be had for a third or fourth-round pick. So he has some great separation, very fast. I think you just need something to get the fans excited about the passing game going in to the second half of the year, because right now it's been below average.
And there's a lot of jokes out there that Brandon Beane still has Amari Cooper's number. So are we going to see a reunion there? Has he been secretly training in the dungeon, running wind sprints, running routes, getting some lifting on, maybe doing some sit-ups in his driveway like T.O.? Is he going to get ready to make a comeback here? What are we going to do?
I don't know. Hopefully no more retreads. We got Gabe back. We got Poyer back. Let's get some fresh faces that can make an impact and that are hungry to go win a Super Bowl, because that's the ultimate goal. Overall, though, a resounding win. It's funny. Everyone was so worried about the last two losses. We go into a bye. McDermott's 8-0 off the bye. Oh, guess what? We get a first-round defensive back from injury. He had a really nice tackle out there. Hoyt was absolutely detrimental to their offense. He got double teamed on one of the first plays that enabled Bosa to get a sack. So it's almost like, wait a second, I think this team is going to get going, and people they want to press the panic button so quickly when we've seen for the last 5 seasons of the Bills, they have this lull in the middle of the year. When they get into their bye week, they usually come out and they're on fire. I mean, we saw what happened when we were 6-6 couple of years ago, and we went on a 5-game win streak, went on to the divisional. So what is your take on the state of the Bills going into the next game, which is in point the biggest game of the year with the Chiefs? Are you positive? Do you think this is going to be what we expect, or you think we're going to be overwhelmed by Kansas City's offense?
Yeah, I'm optimistic going into Sunday's game against Kansas City, 425 here in Orchard Park. They have been good this year, but they've been far from perfect. Same with the Bills. So, I think it's I don't understand why anybody would think that we would go into this game and not win this game. Once again, we've handled the Chiefs in the regular season the last few years. It's been the playoffs that we haven't been able to get over the hump with them, but I think we'll be okay. And I'm looking forward, and I'm confident that the Bills will get a big win this Sunday. And we're talking about going into Miami. We right the ship right there, and then we got couple other tough games coming up on the schedule. But looking around the league, we got to talk about a couple other teams in the AFC, which we can once we're done talking about the Bills.
Yeah, and looking at the defense, which is going to have a tall task as Mahomes and company come into town with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Kelsey, Noah Gray, all those weapons. A lot of people were saying at halftime of the Atlanta game, McDermott started taking over the defensive play calling. And if you can kind of tell from that point, the defenses looked a lot different. They've been more aggressive. We had 7 sacks against the Panthers. I mean, I feel like Buffalo knows when Kansas City comes to town, it's a big game. People think because the Chiefs have quote unquote figured it out after their slow start, we can't compete. But let's be honest, for the last 4 years, every game with them, for the most part, has been decided by one possession. McDermott, Andy Reid does have McDermott's number in the playoffs, but McDermott matches up well to him in the regular season. They're very familiar with each other. And just like you said, I expect this to be a really good game. We are the underdog in Vegas. So the Chiefs, according to Vegas, they think they're the better team. We're the underdog at home, and I love that. Let's play the underdog card. Don't expect us to win. We're going to come out and smack you in the mouth.
Yeah, and I think, Bills Mafia will be tuned up, ready to go. Once again, 4:25 game on a Sunday afternoon. Weather's looking 50-50-ish. We got the time change coming up on Saturday, so we'll see how that affects people's tailgating habits. We'll see how that goes, but it'll be pretty dark by the time starting to get dark, I should say, by the time the kickoff happens. And it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Always some good, entertaining football when these two teams lock up.
Yeah, definitely. And then some other changes in the defense. Hancock played great in the secondary. They were talking about his speed out there. Rico Dowdle for the Panthers could have broke a touchdown run, a play that maybe DeMar Hamlin or Taylor Rapp might not have been able to make. He made a touchdown-saving tackle. So these new faces that are getting more snaps, hopefully we can lean off depending on guys like Trey White, who we know is kind of on his last legs here as an NFL player, and we have some fresh faces that can make an impact. Because at the end of the day, if McDermott is crafting a masterpiece, as some like to say, defensively, hopefully Josh elevates his game this week against Kansas City, which he usually does.
Yeah, is that concerning to you that McDermott is doing the play calling now? Like, what purpose is Bobby Babich serving? You know what I mean?
He
Like, this
kind
is
of
not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, it doesn't concern me at all. Andy Reid calls the offensive plays for the Chiefs, and he's the head coach. McDermott is a specialty on defense, so I want my head coach making those play calls. Babich is not as good as McDermott when it comes to schematics. He can still have a role as a coordinator with personnel and influence on play calling, but I want my head. Enough is enough. It's time to take a stand. I want McDermott to be aggressive. I want him to call the defense.
But what does Babich do during the week then? Does he go get the lunch order? Does he make
No,
sure all the
no,
dry cleaning is taken
nope.
care of? What is Bobby Babich exactly doing for this
He's
team?
in on all the meetings with the personnel, with what plays are being called. That there's more than just one person who's a cook in the kitchen. So there's a lot of people that are helping out with the defense. He still has a role. It's not like he's not doing anything, but everything has to run through McDermott. And I think what I've seen so far, I like where it's at.
So if they're doing a defensive meeting, they get a call to the conference room. Hey, lunch from Danny South is here. Bobby, can you excuse yourself? Go grab that lunch for us while we talk about more important stuff, and you can just go grab our lunch.
No, I don't think he's doing that.
You don't think so?
Nope, still coaching.
Do you have an inside source?
15 years of playing football.
No, I'm talking about in the building, though.
Oh, yeah, I know some people.
Okay, so I want you to find out then if Bobby Babich does indeed go and grab the lunch for the rest of the coaches now that he has been not relieved of his duties, but now that the head coach of the team is more active and more hands-on when it comes to the defensive play calling.
Hey, better yet, why don't we have him as a guest on next week and you can ask him yourself?
I don't have his number, do you?
Yeah. Just
awesome.
kidding.
Hey, are you a country music fan?
Am I a country music fan? Yes.
Yes. So the Taste of Country this year, which is the 25th year of the Taste of Country, we're looking at Luke Bryan and Jordan Davis. That just caught my attention.
Nice.
Yeah, we just saw Luke Bryan at Darien Lake, and I definitely do not want to go into that environment of Taste of Country to see him again. But that's a pretty big get for
That's a big name.
Yes.
It is, for sure. That should be a great time.
Sorry,
That's all right. Yeah, as hopefully we're celebrating a Super Bowl championship next summer with Luke Bryan. So yeah, like just a little tease. We might try to get Babich on the show then, so Pasquale can learn a little bit more of the day-to-day of somebody who doesn't call the plays on defense. We have some connections, but overall, the AFC, we've kind of seen things shaking out. The Colts are still looking really impressive. Daniel Jones reviving his career. Jonathan Taylor in MVP talks. Where do you put the Colts in your power rankings in the NFL?
They got to be up near the top. A couple really stupid things happened yesterday in the NFL, and I'm going to call them stupid because they really are stupid. I didn't get that much of a chance to pay that close attention to what was going on around the league, but I found out that the Dolphins beat the Atlanta Falcons. I found out that the Jets beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Just stupid. Why, like, this kind of thing should not be happening. The Jets should not get a win this year. The Dolphins should not win another game the rest of the season. Just dumb by the NFL.
Done by they don't determine how these teams come out. It's a week to week league. Okay. Tua's not a good quarterback, but he has the potential to play well, which he did on Sunday. Atlanta, you don't know what you're going to get from them. They beat us. They lost 30-0 to Carolina. They go out and lose to the Dolphins. It's just a lot of parity. These guys are all professionals. The Jets definitely did surprise me because they were getting beat the whole game. They came back. But it's just the NFL for you, man. You're going to have to deal with it.
Dumb.
Okay.
So let's talk about, you mentioned the AFC. So I'm going to give you 3 different teams, and I want to get your opinion on each of them. Now, we know that the Ravens have had a bit of a rough stretch here, but Lamar apparently is coming back on Thursday. Let's say the Ravens go on a run, and then you talk about out west, you have the San Diego Chargers, and then we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Which of those 3 teams would you not want to face and why?
And as far as the Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, or if it was a regular season game, like which team right now worries you the most? Obviously, we just talked about the Colts a little bit, but if I'm laying out those 3 scenarios, we're talking about the Ravens coming back from the dead like Freddy Krueger. We're talking about the San Diego Chargers with the most obnoxious, in my opinion, coach quarterback duo. And then we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts, who are running roughshod over everybody they're playing. Daniel Jones at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, and they're doing it all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about Baltimore. We have their number in the playoffs, so that wouldn't pose too much concern. I don't trust Justin Herbert in the playoffs. Not worried about the Chargers. It would have to be the Colts, one of the teams that came in here during Allen's reign up top the AFC East and blew us out at home. Jonathan Taylor ran all over us. So with the defense ability to not stop the run that well this year, especially with Ed Oliver being out, I think that would pose a lot of problems for us in a matchup. If it was at home, I'm still taking the Bills. But if Indianapolis gets the 1 seed, you're going to Indianapolis. That's a tough game.
Yeah, Ed Oliver's bad luck this season continues. Torn bicep, apparently.
Yeah, I actually texted you. This is what Ed said on his Instagram story in response to the injury. He said, sack leader through 8 weeks for DT was 4.5. I had 3 sacks with only playing 2.5 games. Bruh. That injury bug, MF. That was at Oliver.
Unlucky. For sure.
What do you think MF stands for?
If I was more awake, I would probably think of a very witty response to that answer, but I'm still recovering from the weekend's activities. So,
and let's just give a shout out to Pasquale. He drove all the way back from Charlotte today and came on to do this podcast. There's people in this industry that have been doing this for years who would have took the day off, went to bed, and saved it for another day. You wanted to be on. You knew that people needed talking, and you're here. So kudos to you.
well, I thank you. And let's get some comments in the comment section too from people that are checking out the program. We need that. We want some more feedback. We want more people to get involved with the program. So when you see us to post that, to put your comments in the comment section, we really mean it. We usually get some pretty good feedback from people, but let's do it during the course of the show.
Yeah. Jim Nance, Tony Romo is going to be on the call for the 4:00 game here at Buffalo. Where do they rank in your most tolerable broadcast teams?
Tony Romo has really grown on me over the last couple of years. Obviously,
love him.
Jim Nance is a legend. You can't say anything negative about Jim Nance, but Tony Romo is going through the same thing that Tom Brady has gone through, where he looks like an entirely different person. He's looking a little bit more, I want to say, animated. Like he's almost, he just has like an entirely different look. His face is a little more formed, a little more defined. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Tony Romo, if he's planning on doing some acting or something outside of this. But yeah, I'm a big fan of them. I know you don't like the fact that I like Tom Brady in the broadcast booth. I know a lot of people like to hate on Brady. Anytime he makes a mistake, they will point that out. And Greg Olson, obviously, with the call on our game on Sunday. I wish I could have saw that because I do enjoy listening to Greg Olson. And when I was watching the YouTube feed, I only got the play-by-play, not much of the color commentary. So I'm sad I missed that. But yeah, I got to put them up there. Do you think that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are a step above them, or where do you rank them?
I think Buck is so versatile with his sports calling, can do baseball really well. I like his play by play in football. And I'm not a huge fan of Aikman's commentary. I think there's better people out there. I prefer Romo over him. I think he's been doing it a long time, and I just feel like he's kind of plateaued. But I think the one guy who seems a little checked out is Al Michaels on Thursday Night Football. He seems like he just doesn't give a shit anymore.
He's in that like anchorman role where he's just doing his job. He's getting a paycheck, and I know
Yeah.
a lot of people have an issue with the way he calls those Thursday night football games. I heard one of my favorite radio personalities mocking Kirk Herbstreit because he's making it so much about his dog these days, and
Yeah.
a lot of blowback for that Thursday night broadcast.
Yeah, definitely. And the Bills will get a Thursday night game in a couple weeks when they go to Houston to play the Texans. A big factor in the Bills' win was the defense shutting down Andy Dalton. We all know how much he helped end the drought for the Bills 7 years ago. He gave us a pretty nice gift for a crappy day at quarterback. He had a rough game. AJ Epineza picked him, almost had a pick six. His QBR sucked, so people were worried about having to play Dalton instead of Bryce Young. But I mean, the Bills shut him down tremendously.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely had a good plan going in there, and Andy Dalton was Andy Dalton on a couple plays, which helped us put up those 40 points and pretty impressive victory in Charlotte. One thing I have to say too is we had seats in the 500 level on the Buffalo Bills sideline. We were right around the 40-yard line, and I really did like that view and that perspective. I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself that I took the Bills ticket offer a little bit too soon, and we're back down on the 100 level around the 30-yard line. Being up there, seeing like these plays develop and all the other nuances that come with that angle, I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself that once again I rushed to get those Bills season tickets for the new original Pizza Log Stadium, where I probably could have waited and got something up on the higher level and even saved a couple bucks as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of options in the new stadium. We're counting down the days. Squally, we're almost halfway through the season, and this farewell season is halfway over. And just like that, I mean, playoffs are going to be here, so you really got to soak in all these moments as a Bills fan for those going to games this year at Highmark and appreciate that moment. I know the season finales against the Jets, where we're going to wear the red helmets. A lot of special games left in this final season that hopefully, even though it looks more difficult than what did at the beginning of the season, ends with the Bills getting the number one seed, which is still in play. The Colts have one loss. We have two losses. They have a tough schedule. We have the Chiefs. Everything's going to shake out the way it's supposed to shake out. But you just got to think McDermott is now 9-0 off a bye. You give him another bye in the playoffs. That's basically giving you an AFC Championship game at home, which would be ecstatic if that happened.
Yeah, and I just want to throw one more thing out your way before we get out of here this evening for another episode of More Than Breaking Tables. The NFL trade deadline is next week. Do we see any activity from Bean and the Bills this week, or will it be something that will happen at the deadline? What is your feeling on that?
Yeah, I would love to see. I know we talked about retreads, but I would like to see a reunion. Get Harrison Phillips back in the Bills. He's on the Jets, so I'd like to see him trade for him since Ed Oliver went down. And then there's receivers being floated around like Brian Thomas Jr. He's not being traded. Get Rashid Shaheed. He provides that deep threat, and I'm all set to go the rest of the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Being not afraid to make a move, but I think we have to take a look at that Amari Cooper trade last year, and I think that was kind of a wasted trade. I heard Eric Wood talking today, talking about back in the day when the Bills traded for Kelvin Benjamin, quite possibly another wasted move. He didn't really pan out the way we had hoped. here in Buffalo. So we will see what happens, but I'm not sure how active the deadline is going to be. It could be a little more low key this year, but there's just a trade for a cornerback, I believe, today. So we'll see what happens out there.
Yeah, it should be exciting. Monday Night Football on. Everyone's favorite team, the Chiefs, is playing. I know you love them, Pasquale, so we'll see how they do against the
The Commandos.
Commanders, the Commandos, without Jaden Daniels. Could be ugly, but I'm rooting for a close game. Hopefully, an upset happens.
How dumb does Dan Quinn look with his backwards hat when the Commandos are not winning games?
Pretty dumb.
Yeah, right?
Kind of
Well,
like McDermott. Kind of like McDermott with the glasses. I don't like
yeah, that
McDermott with the
was.
glasses.
I
He's
think it was
just
I think that was because of the lighting in the dome. I think that's why he had those. It's like some kind of not UV, but it's because of the lighting. You could see things a lot better.
yeah. Um, that'll be interesting. And Halloween this weekend. You dressing up? You going out for any parties? What's going on in your schedule?
No, I'm 47, so I will not be dressing up or going out to any parties. I will be having a conventional date night with my wife
Do you
on
leave
Friday.
candy out for the kids?
We don't have sidewalks here in Wheatfield, so I will not. I wish I could because I would love to have trick or treaters, but we don't get people that come by because again, there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
So I can't really do that. It's kind of disappointing. And but I encourage anybody under the age of 16 go out there, go trick or treating. Anybody that's older than that, that's going out looking
Get a
for
life.
get a life, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm hoping. Usually, I don't go to the office on Fridays, but if I were to go to the office on Friday, hopefully, I don't see too many of my coworkers dressed up because Halloween is for children.
And it should be that way. So
Yes.
hopefully everyone enjoys their Halloween. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of More Than Breaking Tables. As always, you can follow me at ConnorCobus17 on Instagram. Pasquale, I'll let you plug your socials as well.
Yeah, I blinked, and as of this Saturday, we're going to be 3 weeks away. As of this Sunday, excuse me, we're going to be 3 weeks away from the Lumber City Rumble, live professional wrestling at the Renaissance Club in North Tonawanda, 4 p.m. bell time, 6 big matches. At the event, we're also going to be accepting food donations for a local food pantry in North Tonawanda. So if you want to support that, that would be great. Special holiday fan appreciation prices in effect for general admission tickets as well. So if you want to find out more about that, bcw-wny.com. You see my name down there. Add me as a friend on Facebook, or you can add me on Instagram at WNY Pasquale as well.
And that's going to do it for our episode. It's Chiefs week. Time to get serious, make a move at the deadline, make another Bills playoff run. We will see you next week. As always, go Bills.
Thank you for checking out More Than Breaking Tables. Go Bills.
Bills.